Hello, I'm speaking in quite a soft voice today because it's time for some 2 a.m. gaming and I don't want to wake up my roommate, but I had to stay up for this one. It's week 1 of UU Premier League and it's my friend, countryman and teammate Rash against Viva Lost Pride, and we've got two quite similar looking balance structures into each other, with Rash leading Rotom and probably just getting a wisp on the Gastrodon. As Viv, you can, if you want, knock the Rotom, but you're risking getting your Tornadus Thunderwaved, which will make life a lot more difficult. I can't remember if our Chomp is Stone Edge or Iron Head for the Wheezing. I hope it's Iron Head. And Viv takes the knock as Rash just Volt switches into an Assault Vest Tornadus, which gets me Tinkaton, who this one can go for a knock at least, and we see that it's Pickpocket from Mold Breaker not activating. Viv knocks, Rash takes the Assault Vest and manages to sneak his rocks up before the Assault Vest comes into effect, which is quite cool. I didn't know that that was how it works, but I suppose you have to be Assault Vest at the start of the turn to not be allowed to click it, and because Rash was able to click it, it goes up even though he gains the Assault Vest. And then he takes lefties off the Gastrodon. And we're probably going to see an Amoonguss here, so that's so obvious that Viv could double threat. It might have been nice for the Tink to have taken the low kicks as probably boots, but that's difficult to do with a lefty Tink because you've got to get knocked, whereas Air Balloon Tink can just have that be popped by a low kicks U-turn, and then the low kicks' boots are gone and it can't just come in and out all game. Paralysis on the Wheezing. If the Chomp is Iron Head, then that can make it a lot more feasible to break through it, and just taking the damage on the Wheezing makes a lot of sense as Viv goes for a Fog. And what are we going to see here? Maybe a Pain Split from the Wheezing, or a Wisp onto the Amoonguss would make sense. It is kind of awkward for Viv to switch into Amoonguss because nobody appreciates getting paralysed, and Ogerpon can't do loads into a Fizz Def Amoonguss, so that doesn't want to come in to take a Stun Spore. It's going to hate taking a Foul Play or Sludge Bomb with the potential to poison. Tornadus can come in, but also doesn't want to be paralysed or poisoned. Viv has things that threaten the Amoonguss, but it's difficult to switch into it. A combination of Foul Play, Stun Spore and Sludge Bomb. And so Viv just goes for the Terra Steel immediately, with that in mind. It's very nice for Rash to have the Terra burnt already, though it's annoying for Chomp reasons. The Tornadus that he goes hard into is really good with the opposing Tornadus' Assault Vest gone and Viv unable to Terra. But I don't know that I love going hard Torn on a Sludge Bomb, because you're risking the paralysis and you're showing here that you're not bulk invested by the damage that you take from the Sludge Bomb. And you can live anything that this wants to do, so you can just get a hit, but I worry this might be a little bit premature and impatient from Rash. Okay, that's Terra Electric on the Icy Wind. Viv has used his Terra and we might not have a better one, so I can see it. going for now is Rash. You're probably still going to be faster than the Metagross, so maybe you can afford to just hit another Bleak Wind. Heat Wave is also not as free as it was, because Gastrodon can hit you super effectively now. So maybe you do just have to Bleak Wind. I like that Viv had to Terra just to not lose or concede progress, but Rash is able to Terra to force progress of his own, which is really nice, provided we can connect a Bleak Wind here. And that's Viv burning into his timer, as he's got to figure out what he can do here. And what can you do here, because you're risking the Gastro. Metagross. Maybe you could pivot Metagross on a Bleak Wind into Gastrodon on a Heat Wave, but even that, it's not great. You're not going to outright lose, because there's always the low kicks to revenge, and you've got Sturdy on your Ogerpon as well, but okay, Viv just gives up the Taunt. Right, there goes the Taunt. It had already lost it to Solfest, so it makes sense to let it go, but with a second Icy Wind, now the Metagross is going to be faster, and it's kind of hard to switch into. Rotom will live a hit, but it won't appreciate it. As Chomp takes a million from what I thought might have been a banded Psychic Fangs, but looks like it's just adamant on an uninvested Chomp. Oh no, sorry, that is banded. I thought I saw the lefties on the Metagross, but it was on the Chomp. My mistake. I suppose Rash's perspective there is you don't have to be careful with Chomp HP, because there's a Terra Steel Wheezing that you're never doing anything into. So that's the thing that you can most afford to risk, which makes a lot of sense really. But now that Viv's Tornadus is dead, Rash being Terra'd kind of makes it more difficult for him to find chances to set up, in that he can't just abuse the Gastrodon anymore. But even so, whenever the Taunt comes in, it's threatening, and so Rash is going to need to find more opportunities. So his low kicks on the rocks from the Gastrodon. And what do you want to do from here? You can be U-turn into a Moongus, or just go for a big first impression. Sure, okay, well, now you can U-turn. We're probably seeing another recover from the Gastro, giving a Moongus, and this is very likely to be a Wheezing from Viv. So what do you want to do? There's Rash. Metagross, okay, on Rotom. Metagross is risky because it could get Stunsport again, or it would take a million from Foul Play, but Viv on the back foot is taking the risk and going, Rash isn't going to want to just thud into my obvious Wheezing, so I can afford to do this. I want to say a banded Metagross shouldn't have a way of killing a Rotom. I think we might be Thunder Wave on Rotom over Wisp, because I think if the Rotom was Wisp, then you can just go for it there. And Thunder Wave Rotom can be really nice, but it sucks that you just blank into things like Gastrodon. So Gastrodon's in now, but it's not really threatening. The Rotom comes in to dodge an Earth Power, which might mean that we are Wisp. But we just see a Pain Split instead. Yeah, that's what I don't like. He's getting away with it, but I'm not a fan of risking the Sludge Bomb poison on the Rotom. And yeah, I do kind of feel like Rash has gotten away with, not murder, in that it wouldn't be instantly game losing, but it would suck to be poisoned. This is low kicks again, and I don't think that was a good knockoff. I think U-turn there was fine. But it's nice that Gastro has to stay in and burn recovers if it doesn't want to be low, and the only alternative for Viv is to just give up momentum. But this is cool. Now Gastro is going to be forced out at 56. And I think this time Viv probably is going to go Wheezing, having mixed it up. Sorry, go Wheezing in order to mix it up. It really looks like Viv is struggling to claw his way into this game. He's going to have to find ways to get in his low kicks and get in his Ogerpon and start making things happen. But so far he's not managing that. Okay, here's Metagross again. But I was wrong. As Rash catches it on the low kicks, which would have been not very good into Wheezing. Here's a knock doing a million, and low kicks eats the heavy slam, which I didn't think it would. With Helmet Amoonguss, you just go that to catch the Bullet Punch. Not Bullet Punch, it's Bandit, sorry. No, it's not Bandit anymore because you've knocked off the band, so it can be Bullet Punch. I'm quite curious about if that was a roll, or if low kicks does just eat it. But yeah, Amoonguss to just make this Metagross impale itself makes a lot of sense to me. If Viv Psychic Fangs, then he's insane. So I don't think that will happen. If you really want to be careful about your Amoonguss for Ogerpon reasons, then you could just sack your Chomp to have the Metagross impale itself on Rough Skin that way. And once this Metagross is dead, Viv's only remaining one that does very much is going to be that Ogerpon. Yeah, Rash knows he needs to be careful, and so he just lets the Metagross kill itself on the Chomp. And that's 5-4 to Rash. Well, I say only one that does anything Ogerpon. Low kicks kind of does things. Speaking of low kicks, here is low kicks, which makes a lot of sense. You can first impression the Ogerpon if it wants to come out, and nothing else Viv can go into is immediately forcing progress against you. And so this is just a nice free U-turn. Okay, sure, that works. You can, by first impressioning, you force another recover. And you're going to just burn through those faster. Or not, if Viv decides to try and catch Rash, getting Q and... I think that's trying to catch Rash, getting Q and going for another hit before you turning out to waste more recovers. But Viv's down to 3 and very low now. Wheezing is, again, super obvious. He didn't do it the last 2 times, but now the Metagross is dead. But also, it's going to be very difficult to find Gastrodon a chance to recover up, so you could just sack it, but also if you go 5-3 down, then I think you're going to need the Gastrodon to be sacked. Especially if Rash is able to get Torn back in. Viv's getting quite low on his timer now. He dips below a minute as he does go wheezing, and Rash goes Tink. Okay, I think Rash here might just be looking to get the wheezing knocked off, and he's willing to allow his Tink to get burnt in exchange for that. Or flamethrowered. Oh, that sucks. 21 was whatever into the Tink that you've given an assault vest, but the burn is really lame. That's just going to give low kicks and Ogapon an easier time. But getting this guy burnt is... No, sorry, getting this guy parried is great. No, parried, it's 2 AM, forgive me. Getting this guy knocked is really nice, because it's just going to make low kicks his life easier with coming in, first impressioning, you turning out, good damage. And there's Torn, which makes sense in that it's going to be a flamethrower, and it's going to bounce off because you won't wisp something that's already burnt and you have a sludge bomb. And with a Gastro so low, this is a free heat wave. Or Focus Blast, that works. Goodbye wheezing. I think we're getting towards the point of some kind of miracle or Rash having a stroke is required, as Viv is below 20 seconds now. There's the Ogapon as he susses out that a plot Tornadoes isn't going to be U-turn, so you can do that, and Amoonguss takes a million from Ivy Cudgel, which is less than ideal, but I think you should be okay. Well, what you've still got is low kicks, first impression, to bring the Ogre down to its sturdy. Makes sense to stack Tink. After this, you go low kicks, you first impression. You either get a kill if Viv switches, or bring the Ogre down to its sturdy. And then your Amoonguss has got the HP with Regenerator to survive a hit. And just click Sludge Bomb. It gets a little bit dicey in that here I think you have to low kicks, or is it better to go Tornadoes? Okay, Amoonguss, sure, that's fine. Yeah, that's correct actually. I think this is going to be a low kicks. No, Viv just fishes with a crit. That makes sense. Foul play. Yeah, that should be over now. Sack the Rotom makes sense. It's not on high enough HP to be useful, and now you just low kicks, hit the first impression, and then you sack something, go back into low kicks, and that should be the game. There goes the Gastro. In comes Viv's low kicks. If Viv still had his Terror, then Ogapon turning Rock and getting the defense boost would eat first impression. And then I think Rash would have to hit a move with Tornadoes, which could be kind of dicey. So it's a very good thing that Rash was able to draw out the Terra Steel early. As Viv again dips very low into the timer. Ogapon makes sense. And I believe here as Rash you just sack the Amoonguss. Yep. Horn Leech doesn't even get you anything back because we're Helmet. Not that it would have mattered. Kill the Amoonguss. Low kicks. Good mon low kicks. UU Discord user Penguin123. Low kicks is biggest. What? Why did Rash just leave that in? Now he can lose if he misses a bunch of moves. But he doesn't. Okay, Jesus, gave me a heart attack there, Ash. I don't know why he didn't just go Tornadus on the first impression. And if that brings him into sucker, then whatever, because after it dies, you go back into your low kicks and you just have the guaranteed first impression kill. But he still won, so it's okay. And I'm really shattered, so I'm going to go collapse now. Thanks for watching, bye.